let the one who has no sin cast the first stone. What a way to handle the trap. So, yes, there is casting of stone, but he says, let the one who has no sin. And the story ended by everyone, beginning with the elders, leaving the woman alone. Jesus seems to be telling them, look, this woman has been caught in the act. But is she the only sinner here? Is she the only sinner? Does she not belong to a community of sinners? Do you recognize that she is one of you, not only in terms of nationality, but in terms of this common situation of sinfulness that we should obviously recognize? Have you forgotten this? Or are you, scribes and Pharisees, back to your self-righteousness, where it is so easy for you to point to someone as a sinner, and you forget that that sinner has so many brothers and sisters in the common plight called sinfulness? By telling this to the people gathered, he seems to be telling all of us, do not forget, there is something that binds you to each other in a profound way. And it is your common weakness, common sinfulness. Do not forget that. And before Jesus, the sinless one, the new Moses, before Jesus, no one can pretend to be sinless. No one, except those who are grossly delusioned about their own righteousness, can face Jesus and say, he or she is a sinner, not me. But that pretense was exposed by Jesus, and they fell. The scales fell, and the truth was exposed to them, and they turned away, leaving the woman alone before Jesus. And Jesus asked her, where are they? Where are they? They left me. Is there no one to condemn you? Those people who came dragging you here for condemnation, has anyone condemned you? No one. And Jesus says, nor do I condemn you. You may go, but from now on, avoid this sin. This is the offer of new life. This is the offer of a new creation. Using the terminologies of the first two readings, Jesus seems to be saying, look, you have your past, a humiliating past, an embarrassing past. You were caught in adultery. That is your past. Now, can we look forward? Sin no more. Sin no more. I do not condemn you. I am offering you a new creation. I'm offering you new life. Please look forward to the future where everything will be made new by God. Now, some people are saying this is an episode where Jesus seems to be wishy-washy, parang todo pasa. No? Now, some people even say, look, no, the way Jesus dealt with the woman caught in adultery, kahit ganong kalaki ang kasalanan ko, mamahalin pa rin ako ni Jesus. Wait a minute. Jesus condemned the sin. The sin must die. If there is anything that must be stoned to death, it is the sin. That's why Jesus says, avoid this sin again. Avoid this. You should not do it again. It must die. The sin must die. But the sinner must live. but now must live not in the same sin. Obviously, the sinner is allowed to live with the new life, without the sin of the past, looking to a new future with God, a new hope. I could be better without that sin. Let the sin die, and let the sinner live as a new creator, as a new creature, one who has now received mercy and understanding from God. Only God can do it. Now, dear brothers and sisters, we are being invited to look towards the future of God's mercy and compassion for ourselves and for the world. Let us not keep on harping on the evils of the past. Let us look at the signs of the new future that God is offering to us. But secondly, in our day-to-day life and even in our interactions with people, let us make that distinction between the sinner and the sin. Part of our fault is when we condemn the sin, we also condemn the sinner. Let us learn from Jesus. It is the sin that must die, but we should hope for new life for the sinner. I know how difficult it is, especially in our culture. Now, when we condemn a sin, we condemn the person who sinned. We are not so good in making that distinction, but Jesus shows us the way. Let me end this reflection with an experience that I had in one retreat that I facilitated for priests in one diocese. I was invited to facilitate their retreat. And if you spend 5 days with them and you give them time to share with you, you learn a lot. There was one priest who came to see me during the retreat and admitted that he was having some problems with a fellow priest. He sees the fellow priest ruining his life. And he has already talked with this priest a number of times for him to change. But then the priest was not ready. So he asked me if I was willing, since I was a stranger, someone who could be objective, if I could sit in their last dialogue. Parang huli na ito. Pag hindi pa ito umubra, stone him to death. Parang ganun yung attitude ng isang pare. I said, okay, no harm for me. Okay. So I sat there. And of course, at the beginning, there was, voices raised, and there were no stones, but the words were sharper than stones and knives and spears. Sabi ko nga, if I were the one being one of them, being the recipient of those harsh words, I could have died instantly. But at one point, I said, wait a minute. I hope you have been hearing each other. But if I were in your place, I think I would not listen to you, to either one of you. But may I beg you to listen to the love that each one has for each other, that you are concerned for each other. And this priest who first approached me said, yes, that's my point. And he turned to the other priest and said, look, I am complaining about your faults, not because I despise you, but because I care for you. I want to save you, and I want to save your priesthood. And I don't want all of these sins to tarnish your person. After hearing that, the other priest started crying. He said, I did not know that you loved me. I thought you were just against me. And after an hour or so, they embraced and said, we are friends after all. And this one priest said, I want you to live, and to live your priesthood well. I'll never forget that. That is for me a classic case. Let the sin die, but let the sinner live and enjoy new life. The word has been exposed. Let us now fulfill it.